know he's the shove it man.
Jack, the current champion of the Ring of the Hawk, whatever the that means. If you want to get in the ring with me, get in the ring with me, and I'll make you do the job. I will knock your ass out with a brick, hit you in the dick, make you go click. Wild Wild West, New Jack.
So if you haven't heard, everybody, New Jack passed away. Sorry to start on such a solemn note, but it's the truth, and some of you might not have even heard it. Today's video is nothing to do with New Jack, but I thought I'd just bring this up seeing as he recorded that intro just a week ago. It's crazy, I can't believe he's gone now. Originally I played off his intro saying, yeah, New Jack, you might not know what Ring of the Hawk is now, but if I come see you I'll give you a smack. But then obviously I got the news this morning and I had to change the intro. I don't really have that much more to say, but New Jack is the champion on Ring of the Hawk for a reason. If you haven't watched my TNA video on him, go do it now. It might change your opinion on the guy. And even if you don't like him, it's a damn good watch and it's probably one of my most entertaining episodes of Ring of the Hawk. Anyway, New Jack's Ring of the Hawk championship is in real jeopardy today. Our quest to score the first day on Ring of the Hawk led to a vote on YouTube, and that's where today's competitor has come from. The name of this guy is pretty newsworthy because his son seems to be making some waves at the moment. But for this video, I want you to all imagine that you haven't seen 1 million kicks and flips. You haven't seen a shooting star press. You don't really even know what a moonsault is. And a dive to the outside of the ring? Okay, you might have seen that one. But the point is, wrestling was a little bit different when today's competitor was in the ring. Don't know what I'm talking about, it wasn't the 80s. I need to smack myself one. Just a quick shout out to the V and Fuso channel. There should be a second video with myself and V coming out real soon. It might even be up now, so go check that out. But hold your hawks, not quite yet. Don't worry, he doesn't get his videos pulled down like I do. It's on bad things in TNA. I should have a degree in that. A quick reminder of the Ring of the Hawk rules in case you're new around here. 30 or less matches, only main shows and pay-per-views count. B shows will be skipped over unless something essential to the video happens. And of course,
If you know a wrestler who could do the J-O-B to the H-A-W-K any night, any day, ha! Shove their name in the comments, Jack.
Alright, Pillman Brian, was he the real man or has he got me sighing? So Pillman came over after an interesting run in ECW where he didn't actually have any matches, but he was extremely entertaining and crazy. Pillman was in a car crash and he destroyed his ankle. Despite that, he was still hired by the WWF who put him on commentary whilst he recovered. They televised his contract signing, which was a good way to make him into a big deal. He seemed a bit calmer back then. His wrestling style would have to change though now. His recovery took around 15 months. They shoved him on commentary on Shotgun Saturday night. Despite not being completely healed, he did end up getting in the feud involving the Hart family and Stone Cold. Pillman was originally trained by the Hart, so of course he sided with them. Austin had been his tag partner in WCW, they were known as the Hollywood Blondes. However, Pillman is not the main character in this feud despite what you may believe. It was really just about Brett and Austin. Despite that, this rivalry led to the most infamous moment of Pillman in WWF. It's the Pillman's Got a Gun segment. We're supposed to be talking about his matches, but I couldn't make a video about Pillman and leave this out. Anyway, let's get on to the matches which started at the beginning of 1997. Match 1, Hawk, no not me, and Animal, the Legion of Doom versus Brian Pillman and Jim Neidhart. Hawk sends Pillman to the outside and he seems pretty frustrated about the whole thing. Brian Pillman can't get anything going as Hawk throws him around the ring with the body press. He has to tag out because it's going so poorly for him. Neidhart wears him down and Pillman's then happy to come back in. However, Hawk flattens him straight away with the double clothesline. Pillman smiles at Animal, but he doesn't smile back and he hits Pillman with a power slam. Brian then finally does something and he gets Animal out of the ring. Pillman continues to fail as Animal clotheslines him again and Hawk comes into the match. He then boots Pillman square in the face. Bulldog and Owen Hart then run in and the match is thrown out. Austin and Michaels also run into the ring and there's a giant brawl with the Hart Foundation losing. It was short and Pillman did badly. He didn't hit a single move, so it's an S. Not much of a debut. I don't know what to expect for the rest of his run now. Pillman is supposed to take on Stone Cold Steve Austin next, but he's jumped by the Hart Foundation. Mankind then randomly makes a save for Austin. So instead, we get Match 2. Mankind versus Brian Pillman. Mankind looks like he's going to have an easy time with Pillman, but then out of nowhere Pillman hits a back suplex on the entrance ramp. Pillman won't get off Mankind, so he starts headbutting him. These two guys both seem like they're only one punch to the gut away from the loony bin. Mankind hits a reverse atomic drop and a boot to the head. Mick then hits the double arm DDT and signals that he's doing the claw. He locks it in, but just like the last match, the Hart Foundation run out and make the save and the match is thrown out. Austin's sulking because Foley stole his matchup, so he flips him off. Another not so good match, but it was slightly more entertaining than the last one, so it's a D. Match 3, Brian Pillman with Owen, Bulldog and Jim Neidhart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Hart Foundation members are handcuffed around ringside. Austin's a house on fire and he drops Pillman across the ropes. Austin then catches Brian trying to be flying and he throws him onto the ropes. Austin starts attacking the Hart family members at ringside, but it doesn't go well for Pillman as Austin punches a chair into his face. In the ring, Pillman finally does something as he hits a clothesline for a 2. Pillman then knocks on a sleeper as blood pours out of his nostrils. Austin finally fights off the sleeper and he mounts Pillman with punches. Then, for no reason at all, Austin stunners the referee. Pillman has a foreign object on his hand, he whacks Austin, but the next referee only counts 2. Then the Hart family members get free and the match is thrown out. This match was better than the last 2, but he's still not doing that much. It's a C. It then got weird as he attacked a Stone Cold fan at ringside. He then went completely nuts and refused to stop the beating. He was stabbing a fluorescent white boy in the face with a pencil. Sounds like me at school. He was then politely asked to leave. Pretty cool start. After that, Pillman apologised for attacking the fan, but he sounds like a complete nutjob. Apparently he can no longer be a commentator on Shotgun Saturday Night. Well, what was he expecting? Match 4, Brian Pillman versus Mankind. Pillman jumps Mankind at ringside. He tries to jump on Mankind in the ring, but he catches an elbow to the face. Foley slides him out the ring, but it doesn't go well for him on the outside as Pillman hits him with the ring bell and laughs about it. Mankind tries to mount a comeback, but he crashes into the steps. Brian Pillman then gets him in the ring, but he won't stop biting him. Mick finally has enough and he starts working on Pillman's ankle. Then Triple H and Chyna attack Mankind at ringside, and Pillman whacks Mankind with a boot. The game accidentally hits Pillman with a chair, and then Mick Foley chases away Triple H. Whilst that's all going on, the loose cannon has climbed back in the ring and the referee counts Mankind out. So Pillman has just beaten Mankind. I mean, yeah, it's only by count out, but that's still cool. It was another ugly, messy match. It's a D. I was wondering when we were going to get an excellent match, but I think that was about to change. Match 5, WWF In Your House Canadian Stampede, 10-man tag. Goldust teams with Ken Shamrock, the Legion of Doom and Stone Cold Steve Austin to take on the Hart Foundation, Brian Pillman, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, British Bulldog, Owen Hart and Bret the Hitman Hart. The reactions that these guys getting is insane. It's Canada, so it's not that unexpected, but the cameras are literally shaking for the crowd cheering. Pillman gets tagged in against Shamrock, but he immediately gets taken down. Brian doesn't like it and he starts spitting at Shamrock. Pillman then hits pretty much the first wrestling move of this video as he hits a back breaker. He then misses an attack in the corner and Shamrock takes him down with a clothesline, and he follows it with a belly to belly and Pillman has to bail and tag Owen him. Austin starts ripping Pillman's tights down with his ass exposed and he hits the stunner on him. This match isn't over yet though because the Hart crew don't let it be. A bit later in the match, Pillman throws Shamrock across the commentary desk as all hell breaks loose around ringside. Pillman keeps breaking up moves like a madman. It's really entertaining to watch his shenanigans. Owen Hart eventually wins the match with a simple roll-up on Austin. It all ends with a huge brawl. Really like this one, and Pillman added to it. This one's a B, but it can't be an A because Pillman wasn't the main character in this match. He just didn't do that much. So that's pretty much the end of his involvement with Stone Cold, and he starts his only other major storyline in the WWF. Match 6, SummerSlam. Goldust with Marlena versus the loose cannon Brian Pillman. Brian gets the jump on Goldust before the bell. His advantage doesn't last long though because Goldie comes back at him from the corner with an elbow. Then Brian gets kissed and he storms out of the ring. However, this does seem to wake Pillman up a bit though and he comes back into the ring to boot Goldust in the gut. Like an idiot, he then decides to start chasing Marlena around the ringside, so Goldust shuts him down. Pillman tries to fly for the top, but Goldust isn't having it and throws him across the ropes. They continue to fight on the outside where Pillman uses Marlena as a human shield, and then he gets the advantage. Pillman then flies for the first time in this video as he comes from the top with a clothesline. Pillman then tries to make Goldust tap out as he rolls his eyes around like Fraser from Dad's Army. Then it's almost over as Goldie scores a quick roll-up, but Pillman kicks out and shuts him down again. They then start punching each other back and forth with Goldie getting the best of it. He tries to hit a bulldog, but Pillman throws him off. Goldie then tries a sunset flip, but they both just kind of slop onto the floor as the crowd boos. Then Marlena hits Pillman with her purse and Goldie rolls up Pillman for the free. Brian Pillman's really unhappy because he agreed to wear a dress if he lost this match. He's entertaining, but the match quality is just not there. It's a D. This is a pretty cool storyline though, because these two actually dated for a brief time in real life, before she hooked up with Dustin of course. Match 7. Brian Pillman with a dress versus Bob Holly. Apparently Pillman must wear a dress until he wins a match on Raw. Pillman pounds on Holly with his dress covering his face. Holly fights back with an atomic drop and a clothesline. Bob Holly then hits a kick to the nutsack, or was there something else down there? Holly's then spanking Pillman and he follows it with a power slam. Bob Holly then misses a leg drop from the top. Goldust and Marlena are distracting Pillman at ringside and then he gets counted out. So the winner of the match is Bob Holly. I bet that didn't happen much in 1997. I wasn't expecting Pillman to be a comedy jobber character, so if I grade him based on that, it's a C. Pretty entertaining match. Match 8. Too Cold Scorpio versus Brian Pillman in a dress. It's exactly the same as the last match. The difference here is that Funk gets more offense in than Bob Holly. He hits a kick and then he gets a 2 count and a dive from the top. Scorpio attempts a moonsault, but Pillman gets his knees up. Hey, I was wrong in the intro to my video. Pillman then goes in for the kill of a DDT, but then Goldust and Marlena appear at the top of the ramp. They start airing footage of Brian Pillman putting on his dress earlier in the night. He starts gritting his teeth and going nuts, and then Flash Funk rolls him up for the free. It's another C for entertainment. I know that his ankle's shattered alright, but I did expect a bit more in-ring action from him. I'm sorry, I just did. I guess that's what I get for just believing the narrative that everyone told me. Match 9. Jesse James. A wild Slapnuts appears.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
The former roadie for Slapnuts. And he's taken on Brian Pillman. He doesn't seem annoyed by the dress this time. James tries to fondle his tits. Then James lifts his skirt up to expose him. James hits him in the corner with a clothesline, then he tries to dive for the top but he completely misses. Pillman hits the DDT but Goldust appears and he attacks Jesse James, so the match is thrown out. Pillman has lost again. These jobbers are all increasing their win ratios by facing Pillman. Brian has a microphone after the match and he makes the challenge of a one-on-one match to Goldust. If Pillman loses, he will leave the WWF for good. If Pillman wins, he gets Marlena as his manager. Goldust refuses the stipulations. Pillman then suddenly makes the accusation that their daughter is actually Pillman's daughter. Goldust flips and Marlena accepts the challenge. I thought that he would have wanted to put into the match stipulations that he no longer had to wear a dress.
There's always a big part of me around you because you know your little daughter, Dakota. She's mine. She's my love child.
This is the year 1997, supposedly before the Attitude Era started, but this feels like it was ripped straight from 1999. Oh, by the way, the match was bad. It's an S. Give me something new, Pillman. Match 10, In Your House, Ground Zero. Goldust with Marlena versus the loose cannon, Brian Pillman, who's no longer in a dress. This is apparently the first time a manager's services have been on the line in a WWF match. Goldust hits the inverted atomic drop in a clothesline to start us off. Goldust then nails the 10 punches in the corner, and then he hits a punch to the nutsack. Pillman comes back by biting Goldust. Like an idiot, he then starts chasing Marlena around the ringside for no reason. I think I'm getting deja vu. Goldust catches him and drops Pillman across the steps. They get back in the ring where Pillman attempts a bulldog, but Goldust hangs him across the ropes, nutsack first. The loose cannon has had enough and he tries to leave, so Goldust catches him and suplexes him on the ramp. Goldust then sends him back into the ring and pulls him into the ring pole, nutsack first. Lots of nut-related offense in this one. The commentary team keeps saying, be careful Goldust, don't make him snap. But why? He's not dangerous, he's lost to basically every jobber on the roster at this point, he can't beat anyone. Goldie starts trying to pin him after the assault but he can't get the free. After that, Pillman finally fights back as he avoids the bulldog. The first move of the match for Pillman is a back body drop, but that doesn't look great. Pillman tries to get Goldust to tap out, but he can't manage it, and then Goldie hits him with an electric chair drop. Pillman then falls on, guess what? His nutsack first on the top rope. Goldust catches him and launches him out of the ring onto the crowd barrier. Marlena then gets involved and has a slap for Pillman. Goldie then tries to throw him from the top again, but this time Pillman reverses it. He tries to follow it with a drop kick, but he misses that. Then Goldust tries the curtain call, but then there's a ref bump. Goldust does nail his finisher, but the ref is out. Marlena tries to hit Pillman with the purse, but Pillman snatches it and smacks Goldust. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Brian Pillman wins his best solo match in the WWF, and Marlena is now his manager for 30 days. He forces her to the back and won't let her check on her husband. This one was a B, a good storyline and a good match. After the match, the King reveals that there was actually a brick in the handbag. So you all know what that means. Not only is this match now an A, but it also means that Pillman hit Goldust with a brick. He might be my favourite wrestler of all time after that. Pillman shoves Marlena into the car and drives off as Goldust hangs off the back of it. Straight from 1999 yet again. The narrative here is that the Attitude Era pretty much started after Stone Cold delivered a stunner to Vince. This was before that. Match 11, Intercontinental Title Tournament match. Dude Love who bangs his ass into Sonny's and then he brings out Goldust to be in his corner. Versus the loose cannon Brian Pillman. Wait, no. A phone call starts playing. Pillman says that he can't make it tonight as he's too tired from his time with Marlena. A video plays on the Titantron. Pillman's in bed talking about how good Marlena was. He says the second part will air later on tonight whilst Goldust looks like he's going to cry. Pillman sticks to his promise and later on in the show he plays another video. He just shows a steamy shower room, but no Marlena. It was pretty much a waste of time. This segment can shove it. Okay, let's try this again. Match 11, Intercontinental Title Tournament match. Dude Love versus the loose cannon Brian Pillman with Marlena. She looks completely different. He's given her a makeover and a nose ring. Who knew Brian Pillman was capable of that? Marlena says she misses her baby and her husband and she's crying on the microphone. She just wants to go home. Dude Love starts out by smacking Pillman one. Dude Love is dominating this match, but then Pillman counters it into a head scissors. Marlena tries to leave, so Pillman brings her back. He's completely distracted. Dude Love then falls out of the ring, so Pillman follows him and delivers some hard chops. Then he throws Dude into the stairs. In the ring, Pillman hits a jumping clothesline and gets a 2 count. Dude then tries to mount a comeback, but Pillman scores a knee to the gut. Dude starts another attempted comeback and he continuously smashes Pillman into the corner. Foley then hits a swinging net breaker. He's then looking for sweet chin music, but then Goldust suddenly runs in and the match is thrown out. Pillman wins by DQ. This one sucked, it was an S. I did not like the chemistry between Pillman and Mick Foley. I'm sorry, it's just the way I feel. Don't know why I keep apologising to some of you. Match 12, final match, Intercontinental Tournament semi-final match. Owen Hart versus Brian Pillman with Marlena. She's dressed even sluttier now. Pillman has his arm in a sling. I think this whole thing was just an excuse to stop Marlena from being so boring. Pillman has a microphone again. He says his arm's only in a sling because he slipped in the bathtub when he was attempting a difficult sex position with her.
While Dustin was reading Dakota, the 3 little pigs, I had his old lady squealing like a pig and over for that last glorious position. I slipped and fell in the bathtub and broke my arm.
Pillman tries to skip the match, but Sergeant Slaughter says he must face Owen because he's only faking it. These two friends obviously don't want to face each other, but they do eventually do it. Well, they're just messing around it seems, but they do eventually fall out because Marlena hits Owen with her purse and he thinks it was Pillman. Then there's a mid-air crash for a double down. Goldust runs out and he punches Owen Hart and then he chases away Pillman. As he hit Owen Hart first, Pillman is disqualified. Another one for the Shove It zone. Pillman technically had one final televised match after this one, but it was actually recorded earlier than this one. He took on the Patriot on Shotgun Saturday night. Again, Goldust just runs out and the match is stopped. Unfortunately, that's where we have to leave this video. On the next pay-per-view in Your House Bad Blood, Pillman was supposed to wrestle Dude Love. Marlena and Goldust were also supposed to renew their wedding vows, but then she was going to turn on Goldie and side with Brian. We never got to see that match or the end to this storyline, because the night of the pay-per-view Pillman was found dead. He passed away from a heart attack at the age of just 35. He'd been going through a divorce and he'd been sleeping in the basement at home, so it wasn't exactly a good time in his life. WWF paid tribute to him the next night on Raw and his wife was interviewed, which has gone down as a tasteless interview. To end this one on a positive note though, his son Brian Pillman Jr. is building a name for himself in AEW. It's a shame we didn't get to see Flying Brian from WCW, but his ankle was just completely destroyed. We've got to give Pillman a final grade for Ring of the Hawk now. The match quality, it did leave a fair bit to be desired, I'm sorry. Great promos and entertainment, but there was just nothing in those matches. I am trying to think of the overall presentation as I do on Ring of the Hawk, but it's not an A. I'm sorry, there just wasn't a single wow match here. Yes, his ankle was destroyed, but I can only grade what was in front of me. I'm going to give him a B though, which is amazing because trust me, the Hawk is a hard man to impress. And if you don't agree with that, you're Brian Pillman wearing a dress.